Um, Today I finished my final Digipak design, and I have printed out a physical copy of it to showcase my design and why I made the choices I made and how I think that they will access my particular target audience and link me to the indie genre. The front cover of my Digipak features an image of the drummer Joe's hand with the name Bliss written across and the band logos on his fingers. I think this would access the band as the hand itself is ambiguous and doesn't give much away. So just by seeing it, the audience may pick it up and be interested in it because it's not very conventional and it's quite interesting. It also kind of presents the band on an elevated level in kind of a ambiguous way, even more so in maybe a sexually ambiguous way, as if the viewer were to be looking at this from the angle of the camera, they would be maybe at about waist height, looking at the hand being placed downwards towards them in perhaps a regal motion similar to that of a king placing out his hand to a servant, which is intended to not only be ambiguous and entice the viewer, but also to link to themes of a kind of cockiness and arrogance in a humorous sort of way in indie videos. The choice to have the name written on the hand came from watching videos such as King City by Peace, in which Zachary Robinson, the drummer, has this logo tattooed on his hand, and also many research into our target audiences, like social media profiles such as Twitter and Tumblr, showed that they were reblogging photos of people with tattoos on their hands, so that this was quite a culturally popular thing. Would be maybe stick and poke tattoos, which comes with the kind of rough looking nature of the tattoos, and that was kind of in fashion at the moment, and it also adds a DIY element to the band. You know, these tattoos look kind of I don't know if made is the right word, but hand drawn, and that might add to their punk aesthetic, which is important to a member of the indie target audience who may be looking for a sense of authenticity or kind of realness in a band. When you turn over, you get to the back of the record, which features the name of the album in really big writing in our font, which is Harabara, which we feature throughout all of our video, our ancillary task, and this Digipak, so that we have a cohesive element to the band. And this name, Smooth, isn't featured on the front cover, as this is the band's debut, so the audience wouldn't need to identify what the album itself is called, as there is only one album by this band, and so they would just need to know it's Bliss, and it would automatically be assumed that the album is Smooth. And also we felt the name of the band was more important on the band's debut rather than the name of the album. However, the name of the album is on the back really big, so that people do know this is the name of the album, and it's with the track listing so that people know this is the album name, whereas this is the band name, which is obviously the most important and would feature on the front cover. The photos used their predominant colour is blue and have quite muted colours, which is similar to a lot of indie videos that have maybe a more drab and not depressing but melancholy kind of colour to them, which shows the moody and slow-paced nature of the songs. And they're also taken directly from our photo shoot where we also filmed, so these kind of shots will feature in the video, and that way we will have kind of the Digipak and the video will be very linked visually, so that the audience can watch the video, and when they see the Digipak they will link the two, and the band will be presented to them as kind of a linked image. Many conventions of the album art that we studied, I studied Digipak such as AM and Haim's album Days Are Gone, and so we have concluded all of the conventions of the Digipak. So we have the barcode, which is a convention of any product that you would buy, so that needed to be on there. Then the rough trade name, so Rough Trade Limited, and its address, which is normally recorded on all albums put out by a record label. Their website and the band's website, which is in the new kind of technological age, is always included. And then other aspects of kind of barcode and important legal information that is included on all Digipaks, as well as the Rough Trade logo, which is quite prominently featured on all of Rough Trade's products, such as Palmer Violet's album, as the album is not only promotional for the band, but is also promotional for the record label as well, as people make albums they like and go and research the record label, which is good because the only publicity a record label would really get is through the bands that they endorse. Track listing is also very important, and it is presented quite clearly in a conventional manner, as the My Band are indie, they were also aiming at a larger, poppier kind of indie, so that it wouldn't be too difficult or controversial, so it's quite easily accessible. The single was placed first, as it would be perhaps what draws any prospective audience members to the album, and then we had some other similar names. The repetition of the consonant sounds, so extra S's added onto Blush, is similar to bands like Splash, who have an extra H on their name, or Waves, who have an extra V in their name, and is quite common in indie at the moment, and it's a trend that's kind of sweeping through all band names and song names. It can be seen here in Hit the Waves as well. And the inclusion of this 8th track in kind of a handwritten way is to make the album seem more DIY, and if the band had their own personal spin on it. So maybe the Digipak was about to go out and they quickly wrote the last track on, as if they were just put the last track on the album and had gone on to then put it out, which is kind of to give this, again, punk DIY element of the band, as one of the main things an indie audience might search for is authenticity in a band, and something like that shows that it's not some perfectly polished corporate mainstream album. It is a more, the band have had more input into it, and they have kind of decided upon things within it themselves. These two cutouts here would be the this one would sit here behind the CD, and this one would sit here behind the front cover, and they're just shots of skateboards. Similar again, they're quite drab, muted. Blue is the main color, and they've got the band skating. It's still quite anonymous, so the whole Digipak leading up to when you open it is very anonymous. You don't know who the band are, you don't know what they look like. All you've got is this one image of the hand. So that might entice the audience to pick it up, so that they pick it up, open it, and it's kind of like they're revealing to themselves who the band are. It's a secret that's being revealed to them, and they're kind of meeting the band on the inside. And this encourages them to take an interest in the Digipak, pick it up, open it, and in that way, already interacting with it, it's already can begin to persuade them. These images also have the logos on, such as the ones featured on the front cover, which are the logos for the band, and a smaller logo, which is very similar to Unknown Pleasures, which is a reference to another text in it's a very established text. It's sweeping through stores such as Urban Outfitters and Top Man, and it is also a staple indie album that many people would ascribe a sense of cool to. And those are quite simple, just so it kind of doesn't obstruct the main points of the Digipak, such as the track listing. Then you very simply got the CD, which has a skate wheel. Again, references into the skate culture that the band are trying to kind of show the audience they like, and it's kind of to link to bands like Fiddler and Swim Deep as skating. Again, if you look at any of our target audiences, blogs, or kind of their interests themselves, they are, skating is kind of coming back into fashion, what with this rebellion and skating being ideal, freedom and escapism, which is similar to the music within. And again, the logo is there, just so it's not just a skater image, it still has a link to the band, but not an obvious link to the band. It is quite a subtle one, so that the audience might be gratified by understanding that the logos pertain to the band. And lastly, we have the inside booklet, which contains the name and the name of the album, and again, these logos. And to try and play with the conventions, normally you would have a booklet of lyrics for the band, but we wrote, listen to the lyrics, don't read them, on the outside in pink, to do with the single Pink Lemonade, and in our font, Harbar, to kind of give it an ambiguity. The audience, they can't pick up this Digipak and read the lyrics and then kind of make a decision without the music. The band understands that lyrics are linked to music and can't really be viewed as a text outside of the music, and also kind of it encourages the viewer to listen to the album which is in itself persuading them to kind of go on and buy it. And also it's kind of unconventional, so the audience might pick this up and be shocked, or it will be odd for them to see something like that, whereas normally they'd expect to be presented with the lyrics, which might be more interesting than a run-of-the-mill kind of, the lyrics are there presented to them for them to read. And also, as this is the band's debut, the audience might not be as interested in the lyrics, whereas if it was an album they'd already heard some songs from, or they already knew the band, they might open it up and look at the lyrics because they already knew they were going to buy the album. Whereas as this is a band's debut, the band have to more entice fans, as they won't have a large fan base already. Once you open up the booklet, you finally get the picture of the band. Obviously this line here, this blue line, is technical and wouldn't be in the final. The lead singer is the largest to create kind of a star image with Andrew Goodwin's theory, so that he's the main vocal point of the band and is the main selling image, and the only one directly engaging with the viewer, as he would directly engage with the viewer through the song lyrics. And the two, the drummer and the bassist, drummer and the guitarist, are on the side, kind of like sentinels guarding him and the rest of his band, while still having individual personalities with differences in the hair and the dress. They're also kind of similar, they're posed in a similar way, and they're both wearing quite large jumpers, whereas our singer is wearing a shirt, so that you've kind of got this, the band are all together, however the singer is the most prominent and he is the most important.